lot of the satanic murders that have occurred across this country have been kids killing other kids. 17-year-old girls killing 15-year-old girls, 16-year-old boys killing 16 and 17-year-old boys.
Last year, New Jersey detective Paul HART investigated one of the most brutal murders ever connected to heavy metal Satanism. Tommy Sullivan, just turned 14, murdered his mother and killed himself, with a violence the police described as demonic.
Tommy literally butchered his mother, and I don't think that any of us that were there that evening will ever forget that. There were approximately 40 stab wounds inflicted on his mother from the neck up. His death was as violent.
Can you or do you blame heavy metal music in this situation?
For the week or so before the murder-suicide, he had constantly listened to a song by a group that we weren't able to identify, unfortunately, that dealt with killing your mother.
Now, I've seen the photos of that murder-suicide, and they're the most horrific things I've ever seen. The music alone could never make anyone behave so viciously, but the Tommy Sullivan case is just one of 6 that have occurred here in New Jersey in the last 2 years. 6 teenagers, all heavy metal fans, all under the age of 18, have either gassed, shot or stabbed themselves to death. Now, nobody's going to blame the music alone, but everyone involved believes it's a factor. So the real issue is the music enough to send an unstable kid like Tommy Sullivan over the edge?
It's nice to have a scapegoat, and I think heavy metal is a scapegoat for this. I mean, heavy metal examines these adolescent feelings, examines the feeling of imminent death, examines the feeling that you're victimized, examines all the things that you don't see in sort of happy talk television shows and movies.
Why do we have to have our kids' bodies piling up like bodies in a Shakespearean tragedy before we'll wake up and say, look, that's how they're being programmed?
Lawyers Tim Post and Ken McKenna are seeking several $1 million damages from the English band Judas Priest, following a double shooting in Reno, Nevada 4 years ago. Ray Belknap and James Vance shot themselves after a 6-hour drinking bout. They locked themselves in a room, smoked some marijuana, and listened to the same track over and over again. Belknap died instantly. Vance survived, mutilated. He underwent 159 hours of surgery before he died of a drug overdose in November last year.
The main thing that he kept impressing upon me was how when he would listen to this group's music, it was more than just being amped or psyched up. It actually altered his behavior, altered his thoughts, and he became brainwashed and mesmerized. He just kept impressing upon me how the music made him do it.
I think you have to put in another substance along the way to create mesmerization or hypnotization. But I think it's very unfair for us to be just drawn out from the melting pot of heavy metal and be used as a specific example, as though we're the only band that's capable of killing your children. It's a load of garbage, you know.
Do you feel in any way responsible?
I can't be held responsible for a kid killing themselves or attempting to kill themselves, because I've no control over the situation.
Tony and Phyllis Vance believe Judas Priest did have control of the situation. They say their son shot himself because a subliminal message, a secret instruction, do it, was hidden in the record. Their lawyers claim the band put it there to make fans buy more albums, and that's the basis of the case before the Nevada courts.
That's what James said to me, that after they was listening to it, he said, one of them, and he didn't say he said it or Ray said it, but he said, let's do it. And there's nothing else that leads me to believe that anything else but that caused their death.
He'd quote the song lyrics just as if they were scriptures out of the Bible, and that would really upset me, because it's like, how can you quote that so pronounced like he did? And he knew it. He knew the music had caused him to shoot himself and for Ray to die.
It's a joke, especially related to us. I mean, who in their right minds wants to put a subliminal message, do it, kill yourself, throw yourself off a building? What the hell is the point in doing that? It doesn't make sense to me.
justice is to be served in this argument, then you have to remember that for every victim of murder or suicide, there are millions of fans who grow up to be ordinary, respectable adults. Is it fair to blame music for the actions of irrational psychotics?
You get a panel of potential killers and suicides and have them listen to every song and see whether that would set them off. I mean, it just becomes insane. It becomes as insane as the activities depicted in the songs.
Heavy metal has taken the position for 10 years that they are under no social responsibility, zero. And they have not self-policed themselves. They have not done anything to show that they are going to have a social conscience. And they now have to pay a price for what they've done. What I think they should do in the future is develop a social conscience and realize they're dealing with our future of our youth.